Something's rubbing against your microphone. Oh.
I see that. I'll fix that in a minute. Hi, everybody. Y'all know we're still learning and working out all the kinks of the new software, but we are so excited to have you join us today with my dear friend, Miss May Bagnell. I am so excited that I get to speak with her because she has been traveling the world lately. We haven't touched base much, but I am so excited to have her on the webinar series today because she is fabulous, like hands down amazing. And I will say this because I always say, when I can, if you have the opportunity to hear her speak at an FCA event or another event in your area, you would be crazy not to go because she is uplifting, inspiring, insightful. She has the most amazing advice for helping you to get the most out of your career as a CA, to maximize the experience, not just for your patients, but for you and the doctors that you work for. So seriously, go to her class. It is the best time that you could spend outside of your practice, hands down. Let's see, May, what can I tell them about you? You're a presenter, a published author, a photographer, a consultant, a life coach. She's like everything. She's amazing. Did I mention she was amazing? Because she's amazing. So thank you so much for being here today, May.
Well, thank you, Christy, for that sweet introduction. I am excited to be here with everybody. And speaking of FCA, I will be speaking this weekend. I don't know if anyone who's on this webinar has come into Miami, but the FCA is coming to Miami this weekend. So if you plan to come, I am teaching on Saturday. So I would love for you to come. And of course, I'll be teaching at the National. I know that's where a lot of CAs get to go. So love to have you come to my class. And if you do, let me know you heard me on the webinar as well. So let's get started. So let's see, I'm going to start my presentation here. Perfect. So the title of this presentation, this masterclass, well, I call it the CA Masterclass. A little bit of my story, I started as a CA quite by accident. You could call me the accidental CA. I was working a temp job in the actual office, and the chiropractic practice, the chiropractor that was leading that chiropractic practice came in one day, and he was in a bit of a panic because his CA quit and his office manager had just been let go. So he came in a panic. He needed someone stat to answer his phones and take care of patients and all that. And we didn't have anyone. We had everyone else out on the field. So my supervisor said, why don't you go over there and fill in for 2 weeks until they find someone to hire permanently? Well, long story short, I was the permanent hire. I fell in love with chiropractic. I had no idea what chiropractic was before I started that position. And of course, they really loved what I had to offer. And so it was a match made in heaven. And I have to tell you that was, gosh, I'm dating myself a little bit, but that is about 32 years ago. And I was a young woman, but I was so excited to finally be connected to a healing art that I always knew was possible, but I didn't know existed. See, I grew up in a medical home. My father was an anesthesiologist, and he was a brilliant doctor, brilliant father, very generous man, but that was the mindset. And so I grew up with, we take pills for things. And always in my heart, I always knew that something was a little bit off with that, but I didn't really know what it was. So chances are that I wasn't going to discover this on my own. And I'm so grateful that somehow by divine intervention, I get introduced to chiropractic. And now this has been part of my livelihood, which has been amazing. So you let a little bit know about me and a little bit more about that. But I just wanted to give you an intro just to understand where I'm at. So some of you may have come into chiropractic quite by accident, kind of like me, or some of you might have grown up in chiropractic and working in a chiropractic practice, or been introduced to it as a patient and then got enrolled as a team member. I know that we've hired many team members out of being patients first because they were passionate about chiropractic. They loved it. They were excellent patients, and we knew they would make excellent team members. So let's continue. So let's start with asking the question, who are we? Now, it's important to recognize that anytime we start anything, and you probably already know this, that it's important to set an intention. And what I like to teach CAs is that you are the CEO of your business within the business. I don't know if the frame is off on your end, but there's a quote there that says, everyone here is a leader and the CEO of their business within the business. So your section of the chiropractic practice is so important and so vital. It is the heartbeat, I would say, of the chiropractic practice. And you probably already agree with me on this, but you are the first person that they meet. You are the last person that they see. And it is important that we as CAs, or as those that are greeting and releasing our patients out back into the world, are in such a space of intention that we are taking very good care of our patients. So be mindful of that. You didn't know you were a CEO, did you? You are not only a CA, but a CEO. And true leaders, I like to think, learn how to lead when they are not in charge. Now, it's easy to say, well, that's not my responsibility, or I'm not in charge, I'm not the owner. But it's important that whatever role that you play in the chiropractic practice, that you take on psychic ownership, meaning that it matters to you, the role that you're playing, and that you do not minimize that role, but in fact, elevate that role to its proper position. Because the patients are going to get that experience from you, and they're going to get that sense of warmth and welcoming from you as well. So that's really important to remember. So learn how to lead even when we're not in charge is a real secret. Now, how many of you, and Christy can see a show of hands as I can't, but how many of you have seen The Greatest Showman? Come on. This has got to be one of the best films in the last few years, if not longer. If you hate musicals, I'm sorry, you still have to watch it. It's actually a really great film, and it's such a good teaching tool. But P.T. Barnum says, no one ever made a difference by being like anyone else. And if you've seen the film and you're a lover of it like I am, you know what he means by that. He gathered people from all over, all different types of characters that came together to form this amazing team that not only loved each other, were connected to each other, had each other's backs, but also were there for a single purpose. And that single purpose for them was to entertain the audience and to bring them some happiness. So think about what your team does in the chiropractic practice. What is the single purpose? If you could put an umbrella purpose of what it is that you do for your patients that are coming in every single day, and hold on to that thought for a minute. Now, a little bit of who I am. Yes, my name is May Bagnell. Like Christy said, I do play lots of roles, but some of my most important roles are that of being a daughter, a sister, pictured here with my mama and my sister. I am also a mother. This is our little family. I'm also a Mimi. We have two granddaughters, Mia and Stevie. I just had Mia here earlier today. She's about to turn 3, y'all, and we just did a Rapunzel photo shoot for her. It was so much fun. There's a bumper sticker that was out years ago. It might still be floating around in someone's car, and it said, "If I knew being a grandmother was going to be so much fun, I would have done it first." Can we bypass our kids and just become grandparents? I don't know if it works that way, but it sure is a lot of fun. So that's us there. And I have fun as a friend and a teammate. That's some of our team members from the past. And like Christy said, I am a published author. I've had the privilege of being published in a book with Brian Tracy. Great honor. And I get to speak on personal branding and consulting. And some of my favorite things that I love to do is to be able to share my specialty, which is personal branding and coaching in the chiropractic space, but also outside of the chiropractic space into supporting women and helping them create visions. And so we create vision boards. We do this on a quarterly basis. I gather different groups of women and we create vision boards, because vision boards to me are one of the most important ways that you can set that intention about what it is that you want for your life, for your career, like I like to say, for your health, for your wealth, for your relationships. It's really vital. So if you haven't done a vision board, feel free to message me. I'm happy to give you some tips along how to do that. but it is a real important component to really achieving the goals and the dreams and desires of your heart, in my humble opinion. And I am a blessed wife, pictured here with my lovely husband, and I'm honored to be the wife of a chiropractor. He now has also done advanced degrees in the chiropractic field into chiropractic neurology, and we own and operate Bagnell Brain Center in Miami. So if any of you are coming to the FCA in Miami or South Florida and you'd like to come see our office, definitely message me. We'd be happy to give you a tour. So let's keep going. So let's talk about patience for a moment. I don't know about you, but when I poll chiropractic practices and I ask them this question, what percentage of your practice is female? What percentage of your practice is male? And predominantly, most chiropractic practices are chiming in saying that most of their patients are female. That is true for us as well. And so we're going to talk about female patients for a moment, to understand that it's important that we understand that they are coming in as working mothers, working women, entrepreneurs, their wives, their partners, their community leaders, their family influencers. So they do a lot. They've got a lot. If you saw all the roles that I play, it's probably similar to a lot of the roles that you play, right? And so if you're a female CA, and not include the male CAs that might be on this webinar, but it's important to recognize the distinctions, right? So as females, there's lots of things that we are doing, different roles that we play, and there were also, it's important that we take care of ourselves. But oftentimes, we are the last person on the list to be taken care of. So, Christy, I don't know if this will work. I'm going to try and press play here. I don't know if on your end you could do it. But there's a video here that I want you to watch. It's just a couple of minutes to help us kind of set the stage for understanding a little bit of the female patient that you serve. Let's see.
Let me see what I can do on the back end to see if I can get that to work.
Perfect. Perfect. And if not, we can move forward, but.
Well, go ahead and move forward and let me see what I can do.
Okay, sounds good. So the point of the video is really to highlight, and as a photographer, I love to create videos that help to share a message in a short but impactful way. It really just goes to show that, we play all these different roles. And part of for the female patient is that you get to be a trusted voice in her life, meaning that you get to be someone that's going to speak into her life about her health, not only hers, but of her husband's, her partner, her children. And as she starts to come in and as she starts to improve her own health, she's going to want to bring her family and have that same experience. See, I like to think of women as being CEOs, right? You've already heard me say that. I like to think of us as being CEOs of our own lives. Whether we have businesses or a micro business within a business, we can take the posture of being the CEO of our own lives, meaning that we can run our lives in the direction that we see fit and that feels good. And what all CEOs of big companies need are a board of directors, because the board of directors helps to navigate and helps to see things that maybe the CEO doesn't see, right? They bring their own level of expertise. So what I like to teach my coaching clients, or anyone that I like to come in contact, is that it is important that you surround yourself with what I like to call your personal board of directors, that you have a group of people that you can speak into your life and that you can call upon at any moment to be able to spin off something, an idea or a direction that you're thinking of going in. Well, in like-mindedness, I like to think of our female patients in our practice as also having their own personal board of directors, and that we in the chiropractic practice, or my husband being their physician, is part and has a seat at that board of directors as a director on that board. So he or she, as the chiropractor, can speak into that female patient's life, or male. But the females in the practice that we have predominantly really like this idea. And so we share with them that we would like to, share a seat at that table and to be able to speak things into their life that are going to help them long term, apart from their chiropractic visit in the office. So hopefully that makes sense, apart from the video that we didn't get to share, but it's not a problem. I think I just kind of summed it up. So let's let go of what we think we do and embrace what it is that we really do. And this is what I like to tell our team all the time. What we really do is we bring people back to their personal journey. We bring people back to the things that they are desiring to do in their life. Oftentimes their health or their lack of it is going to hinder them from being able to pursue the things they want to do. Now, think about the patients that are in your practice right now. Think about the reasons why they've come into the practice. Now, maybe you understand and know them as they came in because they had an accident, or they had a slip and fall, or, they've had this chronic back pain that just won't, let go, or their child is coming in because they have chronic ear infections or upper respiratory problems. So them as that, you may know them as the condition that they're coming in for. But have you sat down with them and asked them about their life? Like, what is it they're looking forward to do once their body is in recovery and begins to heal and is in the healing process? And you'd be surprised to think that they'll tell you. We've had patients tell us, well, I really have been dreaming about going to a trip to Italy, but this dizziness or this vertigo it has been impossible. I can barely get in the car and drive to the grocery store, let alone imagine getting on a plane and going to Italy. Well, you know what? We have a patient just right now who came to us with that vision in her heart. And do you know what? She just got back from Italy a few days ago, and she had an amazing time. And so for us, we get to champion our patients' journeys, not just applaud their healing. So imagine if you could also have that experience. We're part of that process with them. So there is what we think we do, and then there's what we really do. What we think we do is operate a chiropractic practice. We create appointments. We take care of people. We honor their time. We take care of their children. All of that. We do all of that. But what we really do is we restore them back to their dreams, to the life they want to live, unhindered. Maybe they don't want to go to Italy. Maybe they just want to go on the golf course. Maybe they just want to pick up their grandchild. And those are all really important goals. So get to know your patients. I'm sure some of you, or maybe all of you, are really good at that already. But if you hadn't stopped to do that, because I know we get so super busy with our admin goals that we need to achieve every day, these are what I call the soft touches, where we can sit and ask the questions of our patients. All right. So let's talk about personal branding for a minute. So, I highlighted the fact that I do work as a personal branding consultant. And what that means is I work with entrepreneurs, male or female, that are running small businesses that really want to have a personal brand touch. And then we create these incredible photo shoots all around that to be able to create experiences that highlight the images that allow patients to be able, patients if they're doctors, but their clients to really see them for who they are. And personal branding does that. But what I like to say in the context of the CA is the personal brand of a CA is what we would call your superpower. It is what makes you uniquely you. Now, I love my good superheroes. These two happen to be my ultimate favorite. And why not? They're super gorgeous, and they're great for the world, right? They mean good for the world. They want to do and combat evil with their particular skill set. Now, I highlight these two, and I know there's many, but I highlight these two. And I know Captain Marvel was just out. I just watched Captain Marvel yesterday, as a matter of fact. Great film. But I highlight these two because they're distinctly different. Right? If you look at all the superheroes, all the Marvel characters, or all the other ones, they all have their own distinct talents and their own distinct gifts. And just like them, you have your own unique set of superpowers and your own unique set of talents and gifts that you bring to the team. And if you come to any of my classes that I teach live, we really dive deep into understanding what your personal superpower is. But right now, just for the sake of the time and for today, think about the things that people compliment you on the most. Okay? Think about the things that people tell you about you that make their life better. You know, whether it's you have a great smile, you're very warm, you're very friendly, you take care of their appointments right away, you're timely. There may be more than one thing, and that's certainly just a limited few that I'm mentioning. But think about the things, and I want you to write this down and write it down so you can do this later. What are 3 things that people compliment me on a regular basis? 3 things that people compliment you. And they don't have to be just at the chiropractic practice. It could be your set of friends. It could be your family members. It could be total strangers. But the compliments that you get on the most. And what I'm here to tell you is that is the thing, or those are the things that are very self-evident to those around you. They may not be so stupendous to you, right? Like, it's you and it's part of how you experience life. And they may not be such a big deal to you, but I promise you, if people compliment you on them, then it's because it's a big deal to them and it's refreshing. And maybe they don't get that often, but you get to be the person that shows up in that. Okay. So write those down. All right. So as chiropractic assistants, we will play various roles, right? I mean, with a show of hands, how many of us do more than one job? And we often wonder, how on earth am I supposed to be in 2 or 3 places at one time? I so get that. And obviously, if you streamline your processes, that process, those type of things become more efficient. But we do get to play various roles, and oftentimes we find ourselves multitasking. So think about the various roles that you play. Think about the things that you do. And think about, again, hear what I said, who you are, what people compliment you on, or say about you often. These are the things that are important to the patients because you are there. You are handling those things for them. You are doing those things for the doctor that's supporting your doctor and the team as a whole. And without you, it wouldn't run the same. I promise you that. Okay. Now let's stop for a minute and let's talk about values. In my live classes, I do a real dive deep into this, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek. Core values are really vital to understand because it's the way you see the world, right? When you understand it, it's the way you offer, the way you see things, the way you hear things, also for your patients. So core values are going to be something like this list is here next. Yeah, here it is. So here's a core value list. This is not an exhaustive list by any means, but it is one that has a lot of really good core values. And the exercise that I like to give everyone to do is this. There are going to be things on this list that you could say, yes, that's a value of mine. Yes, that's a value of mine. Yes, I appreciate that. Yes, I believe that. I stand on that. But the exercise that I'd like for you to do is I'd like you to, and take a screenshot of this before I move, so that you can have this for later. Because what I would like you to invite you to do as a team, individually, and then share it in your team meeting, is to take this list and circle the top 10 that stand out to you the most. Now, I get it. A lot of these are going to be yeses for you. And it doesn't mean that by circling the top 10, you automatically are saying no to the other ones. It just means that some are going to have a higher priority over the other ones. Okay? So you're going to circle the top 10. And then you're going to take those top 10, write them on a piece of paper, and then you're going to distill the top 10 to 5. I know. And some of you are thinking, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that, but you will. I promise you. No one's failed doing this assignment yet. And then you're going to take those top 5 and you're going to distill them to your top 3. Now, what you'll find is that typically when you land on your top 3 are going to be almost like umbrella words, right? For example, my top 3 core values are joy, and they're not listed all on here, but joy, possibility, and transformation. Now, underneath joy is going to come happiness. It's going to come fun. Is going to come some other things, right, that are going to be part of joy. So your 3 core values are going to be like your umbrella words that many other words can live under. But this becomes kind of a guide to you. And here's what after many, many, many years of teaching on core values with my clients and helping them define their personal brands, I find that core values are the foundation. They're the foundation because they are the things that you say you value the most. And if we value something, but we're not able to experience it or live it, then we're going to feel very disconnected to our lives, to our work. We're going to feel dissatisfied with what we're doing. We're going to feel just a lack of, excitement and enthusiasm. But if you're connected to your core values and your core values are showing up in your personal life and they're showing up in your professional life, then you're going to feel really happy to wake up in the morning. You're going to just be thrilled because you know that what you get to do every day is tapping in to those core values. And what I like to say is that core values for me are like, if I'm doing something, I'm engaged in a project. For example, I'm teaching this webinar. Okay. For me, this is tapping into all 3 of my core values, but it's definitely tapping into my core value of possibility and my core value of transformation. Why? Because I know that as I teach this and I share this, there's going to be things that you're going to have a light bulb moment about. There are going to be things that are going to be said that are going to maybe shift the framework or the perspective of how you see something. And as soon as we shift our perspective, then transformation is soon to follow. So doing exercises or doing projects like this or a webinar, it taps into my core values. So that's why I want you to have a good set of core values that you have in your back pocket that are part of who you are. And how this helps you moving forward is as you start to make choices and decisions in your life about things you're going to say yes to, you can put them against the barometer of your core values, and then you can determine whether that really is a good decision or maybe not a great decision, right? We could do a lot of good things, but life is short. Our days are short. Do we want to do a lot of good things that are lackluster, or would we rather be engaged in a lot of great things? So by having a set of core values, it gives you this guidepost. So I hope that's helpful. Give you 2 more seconds if you haven't taken your screenshot. Go ahead and take your screenshot, and you can find other core values online, but this is a really good one to start with. So what I'd like for you to do is do that as an individual, and then at your team meeting this week, share with each other what your core values were. And then this is a really great way to understand your team members even more so. And as doctors or office managers that might be on this webinar, this is a really good way to understand your teammates and your team members to make sure that they're operating in roles that are at least tapping into one, if not all, of their core values. Okay, that's a 102 tip. Advanced 102 tip. Okay, here we go. All right, so we've talked about values. And incidentally, your patients have these too, right? They may not voice them. They may not share and come in, oh, by the way, these are my 3 top core values. But oftentimes you can hear someone's core values just in their voice. You can hear their core values in what they say or what they don't say. So what you stand for and how you express that is important. And there's ways to listen to your patient's voice, and not how they sound, but the words that are coming from that voice. And so when you get this, you realize that you can learn to speak what I like to say, all different types of voices. You might be multilingual, meaning that you can speak a lot of languages, or at least 2 languages. Like myself, I speak English and I speak Spanish. But I also have learned to speak other types of voices, meaning that I understand because of my years in personal development, I understand where people are coming from when they're speaking. And it makes for really great conversation, because when you understand where someone's coming from, you can really speak to them in a way that they get it and they understand. And we're going to highlight this a little bit more in a second. All right. And then vision. We all know the word vision. You heard me talk about vision boards and the importance of that. But it is important that your doctor probably already does a good job of this, but it's important that your patient has a health vision, right? Has a wellness vision for themselves. And so you could speak to that. You can ask questions like, what is it that you're looking forward to getting back to once you feel better, once you start to improve, and once your health starts to improve? What things are you looking forward to doing? And this may not be a question that you ask often, but I invite you to start asking your patients that question. You'd be delighted the answers that they get. And then once again, reminding us here that creating a psychic ownership means to treat your position as your business within your business. You are the CEO of the CA position. So how will you lead? What development will support you? And how will what you do and learn now will carry into your personal life? Everything that you're learning here today should carry into your personal life, right? Because these are things that you can borrow into everything that you do when you do personal development work. All right, so let's get into a little bit of human needs psychology. And let's remind ourselves that the biggest problem to communication is that we do not listen. I'm sorry, I'm totally botching that, and it's right in front of me. The biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand, but we listen to reply. Now, I'm guilty of this, hand up, I'm guilty of it. I'm sure all of us are. But as CAs, we get to listen to understand our patients, not simply to reply. All right, so one of my teachers and trainers has been Tony Robbins. Some of you may know who he is. He teaches on what he likes to call the 6 human needs, but it really does come from human needs psychology. And it helps us understand why we do what we do. How many of us would like a greater glimpse into our own habits, right? The habits that we're like, oh, if I would just stop doing that, why do I do that all the time? It's hindering you in some fashion. Well, your patients have the same issues, right? They have the same habits or the things they'd like to let go of or release. So we can understand a little bit of why we do what we do by understanding human needs. So the human needs are this, and again, I do a much deeper dive in my live classes in person, but we're gonna delve into this because I think it's super important. So the 6 human needs are as follows: certainty, variety, significance, love, connection, growth, and contribution. So there are no right or wrong here. We need all of these, right? That's why they're called human needs, not human wants. We need them. The first 4 are the needs of the human personality. And the last 2 are what Tony likes to teach is the needs of the human soul or the human spirit. That is when we start to grow and we start to really get into this place of wanting to contribute to others and grow ourselves more so because we know that it matters. We know that we're a vessel through which things flow. This is where I'm at in my life. And so I spend a lot of time in personal growth and personal development for myself personally because I flow onto so many people. And I want to make sure that I am a clear vessel and that I am understanding myself to the capacity that I can. So understanding how you prioritize your human needs will bring you clarity on how you see the world. And understanding the human needs of your patient will bring you clarity on how he or she sees you. All right, so we won't get to do this now, but you get to take a screenshot of this next screen, and it allows you to do a human needs assessment because the truth is, and Aristotle said this, that we are what we repeatedly do. So there is a test online. It's a free test that you can take. So I'll give you a minute just to write this down or take a screenshot of it. And I invite you to do this as a team also. So again, this is an exercise that you're going to do on your own. It might take you about, when I do this in my live classes, I give everyone about 10 to 15 minutes to do this online. So it might take you about that. And then, I would suggest you do it and then come to your team meeting already prepared with your results along with your core values. I believe that this will go to another level in your team meetings and help you understand each other and your patients even more so. But what you'll learn, let me go to my next slide. What you'll learn is some of these things. So certainty is the need for stability, safety, comfort, and consistency, among other things. Where variety is the need for challenges, excitement, adventure, change, novelty. The need for significance is the need for feeling special, to be needed, to have a sense of importance and worthy of love. We got two of those. The need for love and connection is a need for communication, have a need for approval or attachment, to feel connected, intimate, loved by other human beings. So you see how all of these are needs that every human being needs. And then the next two are growth, the need for constant emotional, intellectual, and spiritual development, as well as the need for contribution, the need to give beyond ourselves, to give, care, protect, and serve others. Now, I'm in this new book, talking about creating new habits, and the author talks about one of the single most important ways that you can help you stick to a new habit is attach that new habit to someone else. Meaning that the new habit affects someone else, right? You changing that habit will affect somebody else for the better. For example, he shared the example of stopping smoking. For some people, it's really hard to stop smoking. But when this man attached his habit of stopping smoking to his 2-year-old daughter, then it made it a lot easier for him to stop that habit because he kept seeing her face every time he wanted to go and have a cigarette. So things like that, attach your habit to a person outside of you. Now you're contributing to someone else as well as contributing to your own well-being as you start to manage that habit in your own life. Isn't that really cool? I thought that was a really good thing. And I do talk about that with my clients, about the fact that we are vessels, that we get to flow onto other people, and what we do affects everyone, and there's a ripple effect. And when you think about it that way, you realize that everything that you do has impact. And so you want to have good impact, obviously. So when you think about it that way, it really does make a difference. So the thing with the human needs is this: we can meet these needs in resourceful, neutral, and also unresourceful ways. And the truth about that is also, so does your patient. So you can study a little bit more about the human needs. I think you'll be super fascinated how that affects your patient, and how you relate to your patient. So when your patients come in, they have a need, right? They have a need. They have a health need, and they want an outcome, right? They have a need, meaning they need help, but they want an outcome, meaning they want to feel better. But you and I know that there's going to be steps to getting to that outcome, right? They might desire to step foot in your office, get a chiropractic adjustment, some therapy, and like magic, they're great and they're good and they never have to return. That would be wonderful. But you and I know that most people have had issues leading up to, by the time they ended up having the symptom. So to getting them to a state of health and wellness is going to take some time. So if their outcome is to feel better and to be vibrant and to be able to walk around the city of Italy, or the city of the country of Italy, to travel, then you and I know they're going to need, therapy and different things, a change in lifestyle, perhaps, a change in diet, perhaps. There are steps to get to their outcome. And when you're able to speak to their wants, you're able to enroll them in the care that helps them keep them engaged during their process. Now, I don't know about you, but in our practice over many years, we've evolved. We've had different types of practice. Right now, we're running a chiropractic neurology practice, but we've done many types of kinesiology, nutrition, different things. And we've created programs for our patients oftentimes where they're coming in for 12, 18, 24 or more sessions with the doctor. And, those first few visits, they're enrolled, right? The novelty's there. They're excited. You've enrolled them in the possibility of what's possible for their health. So they bought in and they're ready to go. But life gets in the way sometimes, things happen and they could perhaps lose enthusiasm. So it's important that you continue to speak to those things, those big vision, the things that they want for their life, to keep them enrolled and coming in on a regular basis, keeping their appointments timely, following the doctor's nutritional plan for them, their supplement plan, whatever the doctor has prescribed, you get to reinforce. That's one of the things that is a pleasure of mine as the center director in our practice, is I get to have sometimes these one-on-one conversations with our patients. So how's it going at home? How are their supplements coming along? And oftentimes they'll tell us, right, as CAs, they'll tell us things that they won't tell the doctor. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because they don't want to tell the doctor they're not following the full regimen. But in conversation, they might just say to you, oh my gosh, those pills are really hard to swallow, or boy, those fish oils really taste nasty, or whatever they might tell you, right? And the funny things. And then you can bring those back to the doctor and ask if there's any other modifications that you can perhaps give to the patient. Or the doctor may have already given you the free license to be able to share certain things as a CA to your patients as a form of education. Okay. But before you ever, of course, give any advice to the patient, you want to have clarity from your doctor of what you can and cannot speak about, and also to make sure that at least I always still, even if I know the answer, I'll always say, that's a really great question. I think I know what the doctor's going to tell you, but I want to just make sure, because I don't know your full medical history. I want to ask Dr. Bagnell if what you're doing in that is wise, or if he would have a different idea for you. Okay, so you're probably already doing this, but it's important to note again. So let's go on to here. Now, putting it all together. If a patient of yours is a variety person, they're going to value freedom to choose, right? I'm not a person that likes things cookie cutter. We have a patient, or had a patient like that. And how I knew she was a variety person, I didn't even have to ask her. I didn't even have to give her an assessment. I knew she was a variety person because every single time she came in, she had a different hairstyle. Every single time she had a different hairstyle. Or if she didn't have a different hairstyle, she had a different hat, or she had a different hair accessory. So this is someone that I know at her core values variety. So since I recognize that, I would tell the team, okay, she's definitely a variety person. So what did I do? I said, okay, team, since she's a variety person, let's make sure that she's with us for an hour every time. Let's change up her therapy schedule. Unless there's a reason for having one therapy before another, if it doesn't really matter in the scheme of things, let's change it up. Let's change it up how we even bring her into the back room. Let's have different things for her to do, different experiences for her to have when she comes in. And you know what? It worked, because it really allowed her. She says, I love coming here. You guys always have something new. But what she didn't know is that we were doing those things intentionally. And that's the beauty of really getting to know our patients so intimately, that we can do things intentionally and they just think that that's just part of what we do. It's a beautiful thing. And an example of a certainty person not only values excellence, but is probably going to value timeliness. Your certainty person is probably someone who is scheduled out in your book, and he or she wants their appointment at 9 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Can I just come at 9 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Or can I just come at 5 o'clock? Where the variety person's like, they can come at 8 in the morning, they can come at 5 in the afternoon, right? There's a lot of shift in them, but a certainty person needs to know that certain things are going to happen at their appointment. They want to know the doctor's going to be able to see them. They want to know maybe there's a special adjustment table that they prefer, or a special chair they want to sit in. Who knows? But you'll be able to pick these people out from the crowd because they're the ones that value certainty, but they also value excellence. Okay. So they're the ones who are going to really be appreciative of when you call them, when you say you're going to call them. And not, at the end of the day, if you say, I'm going to call you back in 10 or 15 minutes, that person's really going to value that you're going to call them back in 10 or 15 minutes. Okay. And I get things happen, but that's just an example. All right. Hopefully all this is clear so far. So here's where I like to tell us all that we have an opportunity to raise our standards of how we communicate, personally and professionally. So I would encourage you to raise your standard, and you may have already a super high, excellent standard of communication, and that's amazing. And you can still tweak that. I know that I really value high level communication, and I'm always, if you were sitting in my office right now and looking around, I'm literally surrounded by bookcases of books that I have read over the course of my lifetime, and new books that I still buy that are all sitting on my desk, that are about communication, that are about personal development, because it's a very high value for me. So we can do that. And there's a book that I would encourage you to get. It's called The Art of Possibility. It is hands down one of my favorite books. And you'll hear me talk about this if you come to my live class. I do a little bit deeper dive into this book, but you can get on Amazon. I promise you, if you've not read a personal development book ever, or you are looking for one and you're not sure, you're looking for something, the next read for the summer, buy yourself this gift. I promise you, it is a delightful read, and it will raise your level of communication, how you see people, how you see your patients, how you see yourself, and your personal relationships to a whole new level. All right. So we transfer who we are and what we do onto others, which brings transformation. And part of the language of transformation that I like to teach, and they're real simple. When you greet your patients, don't ask them for their insurance card the first thing you see them. Greet them by name. Hi, welcome. Great to see you. One of my pet peeves, and most chiropractic offices don't do this, but medical offices still are doing this, unfortunately. You walk in, the sea of people in the waiting room, and there's still a glass behind, where you have to knock, and there might be someone that slides the door open. They don't even ask you what your name is. They ask you for your insurance card. Don't be that person. Be the person that says, great to see you. I'm so grateful you're here. And if they're already an established patient, say, oh, so what progress have you noticed? I'm curious. Don't ask them how they're feeling. A lot of people tend to go to the negative before they'll go to the positive. So invite them to go to the positive right away. What progress have you noticed? And then, if you're on the phone, hi, this is May Bagnell. Thank you for calling. How can I be of service? I answer the phone this way at the office. And I remember one woman just a couple months ago, she says, wow, how can I be of service? She says, I just moved down to Miami from Kentucky. I think she's from Kentucky. She says, no one says that down here. Thank you for saying that. I feel like I'm back home. And then if you know your patient already, speak to their human needs. You don't have to say it directly, but, you can speak to their level of needing of certainty and so forth. Now, when we're talking about creating a space, I like to also, that you're not only the CEO of your CA position, but you're also, I'm going to give you a elevated title, so you can add this to your business card later, as concierge of wellness. Check with your doctor before that, but I really do like this, the concierge of wellness. And why I have this brand in here is because it is my personal skincare brand. I love everything about them. I love walking in there. I just walked into their space 2 days ago, and I said, I speak about you guys all the time, their level of service, how they greet you. First of all, they greet you in French, which, come on, that's a big win right there. I'm a big Paris lover. And it's just amazing the way the lights are, the aromas. It's beautiful. So think about your chiropractic office and take a moment and think about what things you can do to elevate your front office. What things can you do to elevate wherever the patient goes, the therapy centers, the consultation rooms? What can you do to elevate? Can you bring fresh flowers in? Can you bring essential oil diffusers? Can you bring fresh fruit? A tea bar? We have all of this in our front office. We have wellness music playing when our patients walk in, and everyone walks in, they say, oh, it is so relaxing and so welcoming to come into your office. And now think about it. Your patients are fighting traffic to come in to see you. They're fighting their bosses maybe to get off of work. They might have been fighting their children. Who knows? But they get to come into your space and they get to just take a breath. And by being the concierge of wellness, you get to raise a standard of that of a 5-star experience. Think of a Ritz-Carlton. Think of a 5-star hotel. If you've had the privilege of being able to walk, maybe not stay. I don't stay at all of these places, but I love to go into their lobbies and meet clients in their lobbies because it's so high vibe, right? So think about things that you can bring into the chiropractic practice that is thinking about the patient. And, as a bonus, you get to work in that space too. So it elevates your work environment as well. So anticipate their needs and their wants, meet them, surpass them if you can. And, one of the biggest keys to good customer service is under promise, but over deliver. It really is the little things that create meaningful relationships to your patients. If your patients mention something that they like or they appreciate, maybe on their birthday, get them a little gift card. It doesn't have to be much, or maybe get a gift card. We like to do gifting in our practice, and we give gift cards to our patients to places that we know we've heard them speak about. And it's a personal touch. So allow them to settle in when they come in, to take a breath. Don't rush them into the adjustment room, and certainly don't have them wait in the reception room for longer than 10 or 15 minutes. That's really a long time anyway in my book, but hopefully they don't have to wait for too long. And if you're looking for someone, I don't have this on this form, but if you're looking for a company to help in the chiropractic field, a client that I recently started working with is called Crossfield Chiropractic Designs. I've been an admirer of their work for years, and now I get to work with them personally. They are phenomenal at what they do. They have taken chiropractic design to this 5-star level. So if your doctor is looking to how they can renovate or refresh their current chiropractic space, definitely reach out to them and speak to Carolyn. She's amazing. You will not regret giving them a call. Because you are in the unique position to positively influence the influencer. Remember, the female and the male, but the patients that are coming in are influencing their communities, right? So let them be a good voice. Let them be your raving fans of your practice, of what it looks like and feels like to work with you. And, again, this clip from The Greatest Showman, which you won't be able to see, but if you've seen the film, you know that it's so synchronized and it is so beautifully choreographed. Everyone playing their role, uniquely their role, but together with everyone else made this possible and made that show possible. So I like to say that really, as CAs, you have the most influential position in the greatest transformational health show on earth, which is chiropractic. And I'm a firm believer in that. I've been in this field for 32 years, been in practice with my husband for 30 of those. And I have to say that every day it's a privilege to be able to be in a space that allows for such an incredible transformation of patients. So I don't know if I have any other slides here. Oh, just a couple other things. This slide's a little bit dated. So there was an online course that I was running, but that was December. We may do it again later this year. But if you want to connect with me on social media, I'd love for you to say hi and tell me your takeaways. Because on this platform, it's hard for me to know or to see who's here or what you're learning. But if you can find me on Facebook, let's connect there, or on Instagram. I love Instagram. And you're welcome to just connect with me. Let me know what your takeaways were. If you have questions about your core values or human needs or anything that we talked about today, I'm really at your disposal. I'm happy to support you. And of course, at any of the Florida Chiropractic Association events, I'll be teaching at all of them, starting with this weekend here in Miami. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, May. We are always so excited that I can't even talk. We are always so excited when you are available to be on our webinar series. And I do encourage you to please follow her on social, Instagram, and Facebook. Visit her website. She is an incredibly gifted photographer. And again, one of the most inspiring people to be around. So if you are in Miami or will be in Orlando for FCA National in August, I really do encourage you to register, attend her class. They're phenomenal. If you think she's amazing in webinar format, you have seen nothing yet, because she is out of this world as a live in-person speaker, because you can really feel the energy in the room. Just a reminder to everyone that next week's webinar is with Dr. Christopher Calarco, my good friend from Chicago. And he's going to be talking about how he went from no PI patients or cases per month to 120 PI cases per month over the course of 5 years. And he's cute to boot. So he's incredibly energetic, It's a really great story, and I hope you'll join us for that webinar next week as well. Also, you should get May's book because her section of the book with Brian Tracy is amazing. So I like text her forgetting that she was still in Paris on vacation with her sweet husband. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So you definitely want to read it. It's one of those things that'll make you think, reflect, and it's just very impactful. So,
well, as a matter of fact, Christy, now that you're mentioning that, if anyone is interested, I would love to share the e-chapter because the whole book is, a lot of other authors, which is great. And of course, you're welcome to go get it online, but I'd love to share the e-chapter. So if anyone's interested, just connect with me on social and I'm happy to send it to you. I have to say it is an inspiring story, but because it involves my mama and I love my mama so much. So, but it really is a great way to shift your perspective. And if you're looking for just something else to give you that added edge of how to see things differently, you definitely don't want to miss this chapter. That's for sure.
I could not agree more. So definitely connect with her on social. Get the free download of it. I mean, honestly, as what I text her, my exact words were, this was exactly what I needed to read at this moment in my life. So, connect with May, download it, read it. It's amazing. So again, register for an upcoming webinar. Be on the lookout. We'll have May back later this year because she's fabulous. And hopefully I'll have lots of people say, but I saw her in Florida too, and can also help to be a testimonial of she's amazing and fantastic, and you definitely need to see her in person. But I hope y'all have an amazing rest of your day and a fabulous week, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.